Today is a day for anime. Actually, no, that's a lie. Today is a day for Karnov. Karnov by Data East, released in January of 1988. Karnov, viewers, is a fire-breathing Russian. It's true, he is seeking the lost treasure of Babylon. He runs, he swims, he jumps, he climbs, and flies through 9 levels of gameplay. Countless bizarre enemies of various sizes and strengths are also out to prevent Karnov from finding the treasure. And I morphed into a little lisp there. So before we talk about Karnov the game, let's talk about Karnov the man. What's Karnov all about, viewers? Well, Jinbarov Karnovsky is a former strongman who escaped from a Russian circus. However, his character is based on a figure from Scottish Celtic legend. The legend was that Mr. Jinbarov here would be called forth by the elders of various Scottish villages to drive away gypsies with his dangerous fire breath, and it is also rumored that he would steal and eat their babies. It's true. Karnov, being something of the Data East mascot, would appear in a lot of games, but his baby-eating habits would also often cause him to be placed as the villain or the final boss of certain games. However, in this game, Karnov is the hero. We are actually playing a translation of the Japanese version of the game. Those of you who have played the American version of the game will have, most likely by now, noticed their story. What the hell's going on? Story was not present in the American game at all, but according to the manual in the box, Karnov was just out to reclaim some hidden treasures throughout the levels. Whereas in the Japanese version, God, who has punished Karnov for all his baby-eating, fire-breathing naughtiness, is sending him down to free the people from a dragon or a wizard or something. Who knows? Data East, the company who brought us Karnov, sadly filed bankruptcy in 2003. Quite a bit later than I had initially thought they had. Data East, while not a huge force in the days of the NES and SNES, was a solid force. They made several games, and several games for different platforms. Karnov here being one of them. Karnov being released on the arcade, the NES, the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, the Amstrad CPC, and the PC Booter. You can also find a version of the game on Abandonware, I believe. I think so. Anyway, 2003, Data East filed for bankruptcy, went away. And I believe it's pronounced Payon, P-A-O-N, which was built up of a lot of former Data East staff, acquired the rights to Karnov, along with some other Data East games. So, Karnov is still in Data East hands, you might say. Karnov, usually depicted as a strong man from Central Asia, usually shown very, very muscular, uncomfortably so. As he is Data East mascot, he was reintroduced in many other different games, including Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja, in which he was a boss. He appeared in the 1994 Neo Geo game Karnov's Revenge. Karnov's Revenge, oddly enough, is not a sequel to Karnov, but a sequel to Fighter's History. The other name for Karnov's Revenge being Fighter's History Dynamite, which is a one-on-one fighting game. Now, this game puts Karnov on a quest through 9 different levels to search for treasures. However, between him and the treasures are several horrendous monsters, including sword-wielding monks, djinn, foot-hopping giant fish, and ostrich-riding skeleton warriors, because that happens. Now, again, that's basically the plot behind the American game. The Japanese version, you know, Karnov's trying to make up for his bad baby eating habit by doing basically nice things for people because God tells him to. Karnov can walk and jump, and he can shoot. He shoots fire, which he is known for. Picking up red orbs will give you 2 fireballs, and then eventually 3. Red orbs also restore your health. Karnov can take a total of 2 hits in this game. He will be red. He takes a hit, he will turn blue. When he's blue, he's 1 hit away from death. Each level contains different enemies, gargoyles, rock creatures, strongmen. Karnov has to either destroy them or avoid them. How about that? When he reaches the end of the level, he will have to face 1 or more powerful creatures, which must be defeated to bring about a new piece to the treasure map in the American version. And at the end of the game, he has to fight a big boss and then collect all the rest of the treasures. There are some special items that Karnov can use. Jump boots allow you to run faster and jump higher temporarily. Bombs destroy enemies and some floors and walls, which go to hidden areas. Ladders are used to reach high places. Boomerangs destroy most enemies in 1 hit and can be retrieved. And we have a super fireball, which give us 30 fireballs that can destroy most enemies in 1 hit. There are other items, excuse me, that are very context sensitive. They only activate in certain spots of a level. Wings, which allow Karnov to fly. A scuba helmet, because they had those, allows Karnov to swim faster. A mask, used to receive hidden items. And a trolley, which grants Karnov the ability to ride through and destroy ground enemies. And then we have miscellaneous items like the red orb, which increases our firepower. And the letter K, which is the equivalent of coins in Mario. With every 50 of these Karnov collects, you get an extra life. The game was ported to numerous home consoles. We talked about that. Tiger Electronics actually had a handheld. The PC port was developed by Quicksilver Software and distributed on a self-booting disc. These were one of the people who were doing PC games in this format. Bad Dudes, Ikari Warriors, Guerrilla War, things like that. It was written in Turbo C rather than the assembly language. Excuse me. Quicksilver modified the C library files to perform with, better disk access instead of DOS, because DOS was kind of not super great at the time. Differences between the American and Japanese version. Karnov takes 2 hits to die in the American version. The super fireball is replaced with the spike bomb, which destroys all enemies on screen. The trolley was replaced with the shield, which can be used to reflect enemy fireballs. Level 4 and 8 are completely different. Some of these differences are also in the arcade version, by the way. And the final boss was no longer a wizard, but a giant 3-headed green dragon. I think he's green. I've seen a picture of him once, named Ryu. Both fights, however, take place in the same room. How about that? There's some non-gameplay differences. Famicom game obviously provides the story with images. Some decent images, too. The NES version does not have that. The Famicom game is more difficult. The continue option is not available in the Famicom game, though if you press select and start, you can continue. The NES game gives you unlimited continues right off the bat. Funny little bit of information for you. If you are playing the game as one player and you have a second controller plugged in and you push A and B on the second controller, Karnov will die. There you go. No direct sequel to Karnov was ever released, but Data East obviously did use the title character as an enemy in a lot of different games, like Tumble Pop, Trio the Punch, Never Forget Me. Karnov is just a regular enemy in that one. Another Data East game sees often a boss character, like Bad Dudes versus Double Dragons. A gray version of Karnov appears in the game later on. According to the credit sequence of the Japanese version, this version of Karnov is known by a different name. He's also the last opponent in the original fighter's history and becomes a playable character in his sequels. Although not an official cameo, the guard boss from the Gaelco game, Big Karnak, is almost identical to Karnov, especially the sprite from Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja. Karnov has also made other cameo appearances. He has appeared in the alley background of the Neo Geo game Street Hoop. He's shown wearing a shirt with a K on it. Karnov also appears in the credits of I Wanna Be the Guy. How about that? More about Karnov than you ever thought you'd know. Pretty cool box art, too. Check it out.